NCAA men's and women's basketball tournaments are upon us. We are just days away. Of course, we all know who's going to make it in the men's side, hoping it's going to be in the women's side as well. Crossing our fingers for that. The discussion comes year after year. How many teams really should make the NCAA tournaments? The men's side right now is at 68. The women's side is at 64. We have differing opinions.
We do, that's true.
Take the floor, kid.
My take is pretty boring, to be honest. And it's only for the men. Just get rid of the play-in. I think doesn't really do much. Just gives 4 extra teams a bid. Just get rid of it, make it 64. Pretty simple.
They expanded to 68, they argue, because of the idea that they now have to have more teams getting automatic bids to the NCAA tournament, one team for every conference tournament champion, because they've increased the number of conferences, so they want to create more opportunities for teams to make it. I can see that argument. But kid, there's a good point. Same number of conferences for women's basketball as men's.
Yeah.
So why do we have to have these extra games?
Yeah.
Your argument makes sense, but so does mine. The NCAA is never going to cut from 68 on the men's side back down to 64. They're never going to do it. They've created an extra round of games, 4 particular play-in games for the first round, that is always going to be there. They're not going to retract these playoffs. You have more teams playing Division I basketball than you ever have. What is it now, 350 something?
Over that.
More than 350 teams. Years ago, they were less than 320. So I can see the argument for creating more tournament spots with that. I also think, though, you can create the right number of bids, but do it in a way that rewards a team a little bit better than the way that they're rewarding excellence now. They can reward excellence for year-long performance, not just how well do you do in 4 days. If you win 4 games in 4 days, you go to the NCAA tournament, even if you didn't win a game all year before then. That's kind of backwards.
A little bit.
A little bit. We don't want to take away those bids, but there's a way to do the NCAA tournament with expanding the tournament without adding any additional days to the tournament, without taking away conference tournament bids, and even more, rewarding excellence across the whole season. How many should there be? I argue 80, and here's why. 80 teams should make each of the tournaments, but also give automatic bids to regular season conference champions. It means that the best team in your conference all season long gets a bid. Don't take away the conference tournament champion bids, but add a regular season championship. It makes the regular season more important. Marquette, for example, when Marquette won the Big East Conference outright slightly more than a week ago, it meant they would have had a tournament bid clinched right there. And we would have been celebrating here in this house that tournament bid, and they'd have a regular season game in the conference tournament knowing they're going to make the tournament. And they'd make the tournament anyway. But you've got 30-some conferences where you would automatically have all those bids. I believe 32 conferences, correct? Is that right?
Yes.
32 conferences. Then you award bids to conference tournament champions. Again, 32 conference tournament champions. Here's the fun part. If you win the double, you're guaranteed a first-round bye in the NCAA tournament. You don't have to play in those round of 80 games. You jump right to the round of 64, which would mean a lot for your mid-major teams, like, say, the Missouri Valley Conference.
Well, in the MVC, Drake won the regular season and that.
They would then be guaranteed not only making the tournament, but they would have a top 12 seed.
Ooh.
They climb to 12 or better, and they don't have to play one of those playing games. In fact, maybe even make it a top 8 seed.
Yeah, top 8 would make.
Make it a top 8 seed if you win the double. And you're guaranteed to have the best seeding of any team in your conference, no matter what. Even if another team has a better overall record or a better overall ranking, you're going to leapfrog them if you win the double. What that then means is you have, if you know what the bubble is. What's the bubble?
So the bubble is if you go on ESPN, Joe Lenardi's bracketology, you can go on Jerry Palm, CBS, DeCourcy, Katz, whoever, all the bracketologists, you can see those teams that are last 4 in, first 4 out, next 4 out, and also the next 4 in. So it really shows those 16 teams that are sitting right there.
And typically, the bubble is really at the end of the tournament, how many they're going to pick from that'll really be at that level. It wouldn't be 16. It might be like a couple handfuls at the most.
Yeah.
The bubble has just turned upside down. Because you could get 32 teams winning the double and 48 at-large teams.
Ooh.
Or you could get 32 different conference champions in the regular season and 32 different conference tournament champions, 64 automatic bids, only 16 teams get at-large bids. You suddenly have 32 teams guaranteed on the bubble entering conference tournament week.
Yeah.
You just made the conference tournaments a whole lot crazier.
That's true.
Suddenly teams have to play.
Yeah.
In order to avoid that bubble, in order to find their way into the tournament. What that's going to create is more opportunities for mid-major, higher quality mid-major teams to go into the tournament, create more first-round upsets.
Yeah. And
it makes the higher level conference tournaments critical. Very, very critical.
Yeah.
It makes the madness of all of March even crazier. I've had people tell me that this is the only way that they could see a logical reason to expand the tournament. Normally, what you argue makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
I see why.
Yeah.
Why the extra games? But they're not going to rescind.
No, they're not.
So that's why I argue 80 instead of 68. You argue 64 instead of 68. Tell us what you think. How many teams should make the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournaments? If it's 64, write Anthony. If it's 80, write Daddy. If it's neither, tell us we're crazy. Well, we're crazy anyway.
We are.
More importantly, what should people know, number one, about our channel?
Why should subscribe and hit that bell? Ding, ding, ding.
And what should people know about who's going to win the NCAA tournament?
Oh, it's going to be, hopefully Marquette.
I'm not predicting.
That's what my heart says.
Yeah, I'm not predicting they're going to win the men's title, but I'm hoping for it. The women, I just hope they make the tournament.
We will be talking about the men's tournament Sunday evening.
Yep.
Selection Sunday, big deal.
Until then, for Little Bunny, I'm Daddy. Can you give us a Bob Uecker, remembering he once called Marquette basketball games? Wasn't very good at it.
So long from the Storm G Sports Studios in Philadelphia. We'll see everybody.
Bring out ahoy, baby.
Woo!